everyone. My name's Ben Gray, and myself and my wonderful wife Rebecca, who's actually lending her talents behind the camera today to make this all possible, we're both extremely thankful for this opportunity to share about a ministry that we're both involved with now, which is Three Angels Children's Relief. We'd like to thank Paula and everybody else on the committee of the 62nd Annual Victoria County Missionary Conference. So what is Three Angels Children's Relief? Well, it's a non-profit Christian mission based in Passionville, Haiti. Now, Haiti is a small island in the Caribbean that many of you are probably familiar with. Haiti faces many struggles. Most notably, the earthquake in 2010 decimated the country, but they also struggle with consistent problems like poverty, civil unrest, corruption. But despite all these things, the people of Haiti are a beautiful and resilient people that I hold close and dear in my heart. Now, Three Angels specifically consists of a few different things that are just essential services to these Haitian people. So, Three Angels consists of an orphanage, a school, a medical clinic, and a community center. And again, these are all things that we often take for granted here in a first world country, but these services go a long ways. So, first of all, they provide for the physical needs of these citizens of Haiti. But further than that, and what Three Angels is all about, is it also creates a space and a place where these people can come and encounter Christ. So these children, whether they're at the orphanage, whether they're at the school, they come and they learn about Jesus, and they learn about who Jesus is, what Jesus has done on the cross for them, and how they can live their lives knowing Him to the fullest. And that, to me, is the most beautiful part. So first, the physical needs are met, and the spiritual needs are met through all of these services as well. Now, this leads you to the question, actually, why are we involved with Three Angels? So why myself and my wife Rebecca, why are we involved? Well, you'll notice a picture here of two beautiful little girls. Those are my two youngest sisters, Julie and Avery. And Julie and Avery joined our family actually in an amazing story, but in a matter of days after the 2010 earthquake struck Haiti, I had my two youngest sisters join our family on Canadian soil in a matter of a week, which is a phenomenal story. But to back it up a little farther and kind of how this journey began, my church at the time, Woodstock Baptist, was doing a mission trip in August of 2009. So my mom and my sister actually ended up going on this mission trip with our church, and long story short, they both met Julie and Avery, fell in love, and ultimately God's will was done, and that we now have two more beautiful siblings in our family. So that's where my journey with Three Angels started. Now, from that time forward, my family and I have been as involved with Three Angels as we possibly can. Becca and I just joined the board, the Canadian board, this year, and we're super excited to help Three Angels in any way we can. But my first mission trip with Haiti came actually shortly after that. It was in 2010, March, I believe. So just a short number of months after the earthquake. And I've been 3 times since then, so for 4 total trips. And it amazes me every time that these people are just so loving, and they're so welcoming, and they're so kind, and they're so filled with the joy of just knowing Jesus. And despite all the problems around them, they're just joyful people, and that amazes me every time. Now, as I mentioned, we just became involved with the board at Three Angels recently, so we really wanted to step up our involvement. And you'll notice I have up here James 1:27. So to me, that goes right along with the question that why are Rebecca and I involved with Three Angels? So I have an obvious connection to this wonderful organization. But further than that, even if I didn't, even if Julie and Avery, my two beautiful sisters, weren't from there, I was actually recently doing a study with some friends of mine on the book of James. And I wanted to share this with you. So in James chapter 1, verse 27, it says this: "Religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this, to visit orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unstained from the world." Now, that's a lot to unpack in one little verse, but to me, it just speaks volumes about the people we should be helping, the people that we can help, and the people that Jesus would be helping if He were here right now, physically with us today. I'm in a position here, and Rebecca's in a position where we can help, and many of us are fortunate enough and blessed enough, and I believe it's our responsibility as Christians to help where we can and help where we're called to help. And so that's why, I guess, to make a long story short, why Rebecca and I are involved with Three Angels, and we're excited about this ministry, and we're excited to share it with you guys. Now, before I'll give you guys a little update on where Three Angels is at as of today, just to give you a little more connection, a little more insight. This is a few photos of our medical clinic, which it may be a little difficult for you to see. And the photos don't look like much, but that puts it in perspective, because this, we're super excited about. This is our new medical clinic. We just upgraded it, and these upgrades are going to allow us to start a prenatal clinic for moms and babies, and really just further the medical care that we can provide at Three Angels to the people of Haiti. But the reason I bring this up is because none of these things, none of these advancements, none of these ministries are possible without the support of the church, without the support of you guys. Before I move on, this is a few photos of some of the boys at the orphanage actually having a blast during the construction of the new medical clinic. So how can you help to support Three Angels? Well, I have a list here, and at the top of it, and it's at the top for a reason, is prayer. I am just a huge believer in the power of prayer, and to have the church, the people of the church praying for Three Angels goes a long, long way. So specifically, just prayer that the leaders at Three Angels, all the board members, all the staff, that we would be able to just discern and hear what God's will is, and that we would be able to carry it out. And again, not to carry out our individual will, do what we think is right, but just that we're able to hear what God wants us to do in Haiti and to go and do it. And also prayer for protection of the people of Haiti and the people at Three Angels. So the orphans, the students, the nannies, the workers, all the staff there on the ground. Again, Haiti's a place filled with civil unrest, poverty. There are a lot of things going on, and these people need protection. They need the power of prayer. So second on the list, I have donations. And the reason I show you those pictures before of the medical clinic is things like that aren't possible without donations. And we're extremely thankful for all the support we've been given and all the things God has provided for us. That medical clinic actually is going to be filled with lightly used equipment from Baylor University in Texas that was just donated out of the blue, which is just a huge miracle. And we're just so thankful that God continues to provide for us that way, provide for these children that way. And sponsorship is the last thing I put. So sponsorship specifically is what Becca and I have decided to head up here at Three Angels Children's Relief. Just raising awareness about it and kind of explaining what it is and how you guys can help via sponsorship. So you can sponsor an orphan or a student at Three Angels on a monthly basis. So orphan sponsorship is $49 a month. That's for the children, again, that are there 24/7 at the orphanage. Or you can sponsor a student for $34 a month. And these sponsorships are really what keep the wheels turning here, because they provide the everyday essentials that people need there, that these students need, that these orphans need: meals, school supplies. There's a couple ways you can do it. I'm happy to chat about it with you guys if you want to reach out to me at any time. And I'll leave my contact information here with the committee, and hopefully that can get distributed somehow. But the simple way would be to go on threeangelshaiti.ca. So that will take you right to our Canadian site, and it'll walk you through the different types of sponsorship. It'll help you sign up. It's super easy. So we would just ask that you prayerfully consider all three of these. Prayerfully consider the donation and sponsorship part. Three Angels is a nonprofit I'm so proud to be part of, and it's largely tied to this community and this province, really. Ever since that first trip in 2009, there have been a lot of local churches in this community and surrounding communities that have gone to Three Angels and partnered with them. So thank you on behalf of Rebecca and I, on behalf of Three Angels, for the opportunity to share today at the conference. We pray that you guys have an amazing week. Thank you.
Hello, Victoria County friends. Although I'm disappointed that we're unable to be together for your annual mission conference, I am very glad to have this opportunity to share a short video update with all of you. For those of you who don't know, my name is Michael Waddell, and I serve as Senior Associate for Faith Plus Work and the Philippines with Canadian Baptist Ministries. In this role, I'm responsible to support and oversee CBM's work in the Philippines while also providing collaborative leadership for CBM's growing involvement in the marketplace. But I'm going to tell you more about that in a few minutes. As some of you may know, prior to serving in this new role, my wife, Melanie, and I, along with our 4 children, served as global field staff in the Philippines since 2016. We worked alongside CBM's partner, Kabuganaan Philippine Ministries. Last April 2020, however, we were advised by the Canadian Embassy in the Philippines to return to Canada due to the COVID-19 virus that was taking hold in the country, and as we know, was later declared a global pandemic. We decided for a number of reasons that it was probably wise for us to take their advice and to return home to New Brunswick. So we boarded a repatriation flight on April 14th, 2020, but really with the full expectation that we would return to the Philippines later that fall to continue our work. Like so many others, we naively believed that this pandemic would be over by then, that life would return to normal. As all of us know, though, that wasn't the case, and the pandemic continues to grip the world, especially those in the global south, where vaccination rates remain very low. This includes the Philippines, where daily infection rates have climbed to nearly 30,000 per day. Our partners in the Philippines and around the world need our prayers as they respond to the growing number of needs among the most vulnerable. Thanks to the faithful generosity of Canadian Baptists, however, CBM has been able to assist our partners in responding to some of these growing needs. PPE for frontline medical workers at Capiz Emmanuel Hospital, which is the Baptist Mission Hospital in Rojas City. Meals for frontline workers who weren't permitted to go home at the end of their shifts because of ongoing lockdowns and quarantine restrictions. Financial aid for pastors struggling to put food on the table because of their churches not able to gather on Sundays. Food baskets for individuals and families who tested positive for COVID-19 and were forced into quarantine and therefore unable to work or to earn money so they could buy food and other essential goods. And financial aid for COVID-19 hospitalized patients facing large medical bills not covered by their government's COVID-19 response. These are just some of the ways that CBM has been able to respond to needs in the Philippines, thanks to generous and faithful donors like yourselves. Well, enough about the pandemic. I want to quickly tell you about some of the work that we were involved in and remain involved in the Philippines. As I mentioned, CBM's partner in the Philippines is Kabuganaan Philippine Ministries, or KPM. Together, CBM and KPM partner in various ways to spread the gospel through word and deed, integral mission. Through programming designed to benefit poor and marginalized communities throughout Capiz Province, KPM engages in a wide range of work. I'll just tell you about a few of these programs. First of all, KPM is committed to education and to providing educational opportunities for children and individuals who might not otherwise have access. KPM operates 5 early childhood education centers. 2 of these centers are located in poor urban communities in Rojas City, while the other 3 are located in rural and mountainous indigenous communities. There are well over 120 children receiving early childhood education through these centers each and every year. KPM also facilitates a discipleship program for college students. Students participating in this program come from poor families, and they are determined to achieve their educational goals. KPM provides them with financial aid while caring for their spiritual and psychosocial needs. Like CBM, KPM is committed to strengthening the local church. And with this in mind, the Capiz Continuing Theological Education Program was developed. This 3-year program is a practical theological education program for pastors who expressed a need for training so they could become better pastors and better leaders in their churches and communities. The first 30 pastors who began this program in 2018 are actually finishing their courses this fall. Due to the high number of natural calamities that strike the Philippines each and every year, Canadian Baptist Ministries has also engaged in a lot of relief and rehabilitation projects with KPM, providing assistance to individuals and families whose homes or livelihoods were badly affected by natural disasters such as typhoons or earthquakes. Now, one of the primary reasons why CBM sent our family to the Philippines was to explore opportunities to engage in the marketplace. Thankfully, KPM has been a wonderful partner, and they have embraced the missional strategy of helping people discover how their Christian faith intersects with the work that they do in the world. KPM has undertaken a couple of faith and work initiatives, despite the fact that they're not experienced in doing business. But despite this reality, KPM began Food for Life and the Bugana Livelihood Center. I'm not going to go into great detail about these two initiatives, but I will tell you that they are providing training and employment opportunities for vulnerable women and out-of-school youth. Lives are being touched and impacted. Communities are being transformed because of these initiatives. Although I'm now back in New Brunswick, I continue to work with our Filipino partners to support the ongoing mission work of KPM in Capiz Province. But at this time, I'd like to now tell you about some of the other work that I've been involved in over the past 18 months since returning to New Brunswick. So up until recently, Faith Plus Work, or Marketplace Ministries, was a missional approach really only being implemented with our partners in the Philippines. When we returned home last April, CBM's leadership asked me to direct some of my focus, working alongside my colleague Brenda Hulk, to introduce Faith Plus Work to our broader CBM family of staff and partners. As a result, this past 18 months has seen Faith Plus Work expand beyond a missional approach being undertaken only in the Philippines to one that is reaching out into every field where CBM is working. Okay, you might be wondering, what exactly is Faith Plus Work? Well, let me give you a simple explanation. For us at CBM, Faith Plus Work is really all about discipleship and helping people to discover how their Christian faith connects with the work that they do each and every day outside the walls of their church. Whether our work is paid employment, volunteer community service, house or yard work, gardening, it all matters to God. At CBM, we focus our Faith Plus Work strategy on three key pillars, or themes, if you will, that are rooted in God's word. The first pillar is all about theological education and discipleship, leading people to a proper theology of work. Our second pillar focuses on the development of new business initiatives for sustainable community transformation. And finally, we focus on establishing networks of God's people who are scattered out into the world as passionate followers of Jesus, who want to integrate their faith and their work for the transformation of communities and expanding the witness of the local church. Let me share with you just a few of the ways that Faith Plus Work has expanded and is being implemented throughout CBM's fields of service. Currently, CBM's Africa team, led by Andre Sibomana, they're working towards the completion of a certificate in marketplace transformation through the Institute of Marketplace Transformation, which is a new educational partner of CBM's. Similarly, Bruno and Kathleen Susi, CBM's team leaders for Latin America, have gathered a group of ministry leaders from Bolivia, Guatemala, and El Salvador to complete this same certificate in marketplace transformation. Last December, with the support of CBM's field staff in India, CBM launched a Faith Plus Work initiative with our partner Alampang Baptist Church in Nagaland, India. This initiative is creating employment opportunities for youth who have recovered from drug and alcohol addictions. This initiative is also filling a need within the community for organic food processing and distribution of fruits, vegetables, and spices. And that's not all. Most recently, we have begun consulting with CBM staff in Africa, including Polisi Kibava, who serves in the DR Congo along with CBM's partner there to develop a business initiative that will provide farmers with much needed opportunities to increase their income through food processing and packaging and marketing. But I'm here to tell you Faith Plus work is not only for CBM's international work. We are also beginning to engage our Canadian partner agencies and churches to begin conversations on how we can work together to provide resources and tools and curriculums and more that will help people discover the places where their daily work and their faith intersect. It's exciting to see how God is using Faith Plus work at CBM to bring about community transformation and kingdom impact in the lives of vulnerable and marginalized people around the world. Well, I want to thank you for the opportunity to share this update video with you. I also want to thank you for your ongoing prayers and financial support for the work that we are all doing together as Canadian Baptists in the Philippines and around the world. God bless you all.